So here we are back at the Blood, Sweat, and Cinema podcast. Got my co-host James here, or I'm his co-host, however you want to say it. But today's guest, we have Noah Flater, which is an amazing martial artist, does a lot of social media platforming. You, we followed your stuff. You look amazing.
Thank you, guys.
So we're super excited to have you here and chat with you about some of the upcoming stuff you got going on, what you've done in the past, and whatever comes to mind, we'll talk about, man. We're all martial artists here. We all love the history of martial arts, and we're looking forward to having a good chat with you, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
This is an honor to be here. What a cool place.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody kind of gets their walk through the gym right off the bat, and they fall in love with it, and nobody wants to leave.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's so. Noah, when did you get started in your martial arts career, man?
I started Taekwondo when I was 4 years old. And then I was very fortunate. As soon as I turned 18, I got to work in the stunt industry at first, at 18 years old. And then I would say about 22, 23, I started working on my acting stud. But yeah, that's like kind of right away. As soon as I turned 18, I was able to start working. Very lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get into the business? 'Cause we all know it's tough. It's tough to break through even in the stunt industry. It's tough to break
It
through.
really is. I mean, this is kind of an interesting story. So I had trained my Taekwondo with Simon Rhee, and he's a very well-known stunt coordinator, stunt man. So as soon as I became, 18, he was able to hire me, start giving me opportunities outside of the dojo. But I worked It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with him.
Nice.
And then I went 6 months and didn't get another phone call. So I was talking to his wife, Cindy, and I was like, can I cuss or no cussing?
Fucking impossible. All you want.
You can say anything you want. Yeah. And I was like, Cindy, do I fucking suck? I'm not getting another phone call. She was like, no, it's really normal.
This is Philip's wife. This is Simon. So you cut your falling short in the ability department.
Yeah. And I'm like, am I not good? Because the phone hasn't rung after that one job. And she was like, no, this is normal. Like, especially you're getting started.
Did it ring for him? Maybe not.
Oh, for Master Rhee, I don't know if he wants me saying this, but at his school, he would just get these checks from Warner Brothers and all these studios every day. And I opened the spool up, so I was just like 40 checks or pieces of mail, right? Mail through. And I was like, what's all this mail you're getting, Master Rhee? He's like, oh, those are residuals. And I'm like, what's that? Now he taught me about that.
So let's back up a bit before we get to that.
Yeah.
It's just where you're heading is a huge story, but I feel let's back up a bit. How did you start in martial arts and where did you start? What system did you start in?
I started in a local school in Torrance. So my family, I'm pretty much born and raised in the South Bay.
Oh.
And the reason being is because my family had a house in Malibu. Unfortunately, the house got burned down in the giant fire in 92. Then we moved to Japan. So I was doing preschool kindergarten in Japan as a little kid. And they wanted me to be around more Japanese schools. So they did research, and Torrance has a lot of Japanese there. I'm half Japanese. So moved to Torrance, and then I joined just like a local Taekwondo school in the area. But my dad was the one that was really adamant about me learning martial arts. I don't know why. I was kind of a shitty kid. I was full of energy, had problems with authority. It was purely, to me, it was a discipline thing. And my mom was super supportive of this.
Are you half Japanese in your mom's side or your dad's side?
My mom's side.
Interesting. So I would have thought it was the other way around with the insistence of the martial art.
My dad's the same way.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what it is, but white guys love karate shit.
Yeah. My dad was a kickboxer in the PKA days. Oh, So cool. the moment I was able to walk, it's like you're getting in school somewhere.
My dad was like, he wasn't an avid martial artist, but he did train with Simon Rhee in the 80s. He was one of his original students out of school when he first opened up and Wyndham.
What's your dad's name?
His name is Michael Flager.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he stayed there for a very long time. He might have trained there for like 4 or 5 years, but absolutely admired Master Rhee. And then, my dad wanted me to have that discipline growing up as a kid. So for me, it first started just discipline, but yeah.
So you started in Taekwondo in Torrance.
Yes.
Who was that under?
That was under another instructor's name's Gary Clausen.
Now, was that WTF, ITF?
That is WTF.
And the Rhee brothers and John Chom
They're technically WTF,
WTF.
but different style of WTF.
Different style. And when you say different style, do you mean they modify, they change it like to suit the environment, or it's just is there a way?
I think Master Rhee definitely embodied the JKD spirit of trying to absorb what's useful for you. And we were just talking about Ron Balicki on the wall, but Master Rhee trained with Ron, he's trained with everybody too. So I think it's a blend of his Taekwondo, what's worked in the movie business, what's worked fighting people to not trying to stick to just pure Olympic style. But I would say our sparring is a little bit more kickboxing. It's like Taekwondo kickboxing. Whereas
You're actually hitting the face.
yeah, you can punch the face for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, which I'm like, normal Taekwondo schools, you don't punch the face at all.
And that's exactly how it was when I grew up. We could hit the face because my instructor also did boxing. So
Yeah,
we could hit the face in that
a
realm.
bit more
But
kickboxing.
when we would go to tournaments and stuff, that was one of the hardest things is about to press out. Yeah.
It's nice to hear that Simon and when we refer to Simon, are we referring to Philip and Simon? Like were they both doing the same, running the same school, or this is totally
So totally Simon was just his school at Hills, and then Philip taught at June Chung's.
correct? Okay,
Yeah.
Now,
But Philip would come and you'd get excited and watch a class and he'd jump in and then I'd just be with him for like an hour after class and just keep practicing.
How amazing is that?
Yeah. He was crazy.
what I like about that though is the fact that Simon allowed you to hit to the face, obviously in a controlled fashion.
Yeah.
But because I find it to be very contradictory when you do a martial art, even if you can say I do it for exercise, I do it for flexibility. Ultimately, I believe when someone walks into a martial arts school, they want to feel like they could fight. They want to learn.
I think that's a core element. You got to be able to protect.
Correct, but
right?
it's very
Yeah.
you tend to respond how you train in
100%.
So if you're not punching to the face, you're not going to feel the need to necessarily maybe protect it in the same way that you would if you are.
Yeah.
And hence out there, that could leave you susceptible to getting
100%.
KO'd.
Yeah.
Which that's a good thing, Simon did.
Yeah.
That's I would look at that as a modification to his WTF,
100%.
which is but it's a modification for the better. You can't argue with it.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are people that do.
Oh, me, that's useless.
But
when did you do any competitive fighting when you were younger?
Oh,
Or
goodness. Master Rhee has some funny stories of me, but yeah, I used to compete at school.
now when you did do competitive fighting, let's say, did you do states, nationals, things like that? Or was it go into that? What was your competitive background?
I was just getting into the competitive scene, so I was mentioning I had trained with a lot of Jimmy Kim's Taekwondo students too, and I was just working out with them. I wasn't super interested in competing. I just wanted to work out like whoever was the best, and I was like, do I partake on the same level to work out? And I was down in OC working out with them, or in Torrance at the UFC gym, they would come and work out. They were like, dude, you got to compete with us. Like, you could easily take the junior Olympics and then start getting qualified for Olympics.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys really think so? And they're like, yeah, start coming to class, start working out with us so you'd even compete with our school. And then I was with Master Rhee, and then he would throw me into June Chung's tournaments. So that's when I started competing a little bit more. The very first tournament I ever did was June Chung, and I went to go support. And I was like, oh, I think I'm free. I'll go support. I wasn't planning on competing at all. I get there, Master Rhee's like, hey, Noah, you're here. And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, do you have your gi? I'm like, what? No. He just borrowed some other kid's gi. Hey, let him wear your black belt. Noah, go compete. I was like, okay.
So did you do pull-ups and sparring?
Yeah, and I took first overall. Like, I think it was like the men's division, and then you have like the grand championship. I took the whole thing.
What form did you do?
I did choreo.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
but I was like, I honestly blacked out. Cause I'm like taking my socks off, going up to the front. They're like, okay, late entry. How would you like to do?
Yeah.
Which form? And I'm like,
First one that pops in the head, choreo. Yeah.
So
yeah, no,
as Taekwondo, then obviously that's your base.
Yeah.
We all have a base, and it tends to be the first martial art. Maybe not the first martial art you necessarily learn, but the one that you spend the most time in, and really your concepts and principles work off that base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have you studied other martial arts?
absolutely, I have. I was a very rambunctious kid, especially in high school, and I got into too many fights in high school. So that's why I probably wasn't interested in competing. I just wanted to fight. And it's so interesting. You go your whole life training. I just generalized the term martial arts as a joke with my friends because back in the 80s, it would just say karate school. And it'd actually be like Taekwondo, different martial arts, right? So as a joke, we call it karate, but you do karate your whole life and you never know if you can actually use it. Yeah. So I started getting into all these fights and my dad's like, damn, no, like they couldn't stop me. They're like, okay, if you're gonna fight until you're 18. When you're 18, knock that shit off because you'll get arrested. You'll be tried as an adult, all the whole nine yards. So I got into a lot of fights. And the first time I got into a fight, I was so jarred being punched in the face because that's not something we train. And there was like a split second of hesitation after getting hit, that stun feeling. And I was like, fuck, I never want that feeling again. That was an awful feeling. I was fine afterwards, but that hesitation, that could cost you your life. 100%. You know, I mean, we're just high school kids fucking around, but I was like, damn,
I was all never also you like if you bang your head on the concrete.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's never harms.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Many people sat in that chair though and kind of said the same thing similar to what you
They're
just
saying
said.
the exact same thing using different words.
Yeah,
100%.
Emil Farkas always refers to martial arts as great.
yeah.
He always very definitive in the years I've known him. Makes two statements. Makes a, and they're all true.
Yeah.
There's two that he always says.
Yeah.
There's nobody that goes into a martial arts school that doesn't want to learn that martial art or a martial art for people that want to go in and get in shape.
Yeah.
They use these, no, they want to go in and learn how to defend themselves and or fight or however you want to categorize it.
Yeah.
Hey. And the other one is 80% of martial artists never had a really fight in their life. And if you can't overcome the element of surprise, it doesn't matter what you know, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was reading, I mean, honestly, the Bible for me as a 15-year-old kid was the Tao. Just reading that with my,
That's for all of us, man.
yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I started looking at martial arts as specialty ways of fighting. Like Taekwondo is phenomenal for kicking, right? But it lacks so many other things.
Yeah.
That's when I got introduced to boxing. And I was like, I gotta get comfortable with my hands and having punches fly at me, right? Being able to slip, roll, block, check. So that was so foreign to me.
Yeah.
So I started boxing. I was really lucky. I started training with 4 instructors, kind of all around the similar age. I don't know how that happened or why it happened, but the universe blessed me with some masters. So I started training boxing with Jeff Nakamura. He was trained at IMB for quite a while.
I busted you.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And then he was really a consultant for the Olympic boxing team. So they would bring him in and he would consult their fighters, how they were moving. All of my real boxing came from him. And then I also trained boxing with Nick Yamashita. He was like an old school Aikido guy that taught a local class at El Camino College. And it was absolutely amazing for foundation and basics. He was also best friends with Chuck Norris. My other best friend, his family was the Alegrias. So have you heard of them? Yes. Yeah. So his name is John Alegria. We've been fighting and doing all this crazy shit together since we were 15. But they're all in the South Bay. But Otto Alegria and Ralph Alegria is his grandpa and great uncle.
Now, you've done boxing and taekwondo, and yeah, more, but right now I want to ask you this question.
Yes.
Is that you had a lot of fights in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Taekwondo were primarily kicking.
Yeah.
Which is great. Every system has a primary that you're primed to do, and it's the, if every system has the something to offer that to give you something in a specific area that another art or many arts might not give.
Yeah.
And then when you took up boxing,
That's when I stopped fighting.
right, but you had a lot of fights before that.
Yeah.
Which do you think would have benefited you more, the taekwondo or the boxing? Not in the street fight.
That's a great question. I was obsessed with Bruce Lee's sidekick, so I was able to keep people away and end it very quickly.
That frog leg.
Yeah. And it also was very shocking to people. And I don't think I really got into like a heavy match. If I was really dependent on a real martial art, for sure boxing. I say boxing and wrestling.
Yes.
That mimics and simulates the real cadence of a fight.
Yes.
It's that pressure, right? And it's either hands are flying or the wrestler's going to grab the grab, right?
Right.
So, but I was very determined to make sure my legs were faster than their hands, and that's what I was thinking about all 3 nights for. So I was okay. I was competent. I honestly fucked some guys up pretty bad, and that's the reason I stopped fighting. Is I put guys in the hospital I didn't want to. It wasn't supposed to be that serious. Accidents happen. And that scared me. I thought I killed somebody when I was a kid. When I was a teenager. Freak accident. Some kid zip tied my backpack. And then I was starting to do jujitsu at Gracie's. I didn't train there for very long.
In Torrance.
In Torrance, yeah.
With Hori.
You're
talking about the old-
not teaching.
No, but it was the
Yes.
yeah,
The
the old,
academy,
the
yeah.
first, the old academy.
Yeah. Trained there for about a year, nothing super long. So kid zip ties my backpack and is a wrestler. And I was like, who the fuck zip tied my backpack? He's like, I do that. Fuck over here. We start wrestling. I get him in a standing guillotine. And then he's like, stops moving, doesn't really wrestling. So I'm like, okay.
You didn't realize
I think we're done. I didn't know he's out. And I let go. And his heck, he slipped. He like hit the corner of a metal chair, went down, eyes rolled back, and I was like, oh. And I just see blood cooling out from his head. And I was like, I might have just murdered this kid. And I'm like, right away, call my MNY, go tell the teachers we're literally in class. It's like fourth period, outside a classroom. And I thought I murdered him, but he was out for like a solid like few minutes. It felt like eternity.
Yeah.
He was luckily okay, and his parents were cool, but they were like, hey, just know, like, you were a black belt, Noah. Like, you're very capable. You need to be aware of that. You can't just go around fucking everybody up.
You're lucky they were nice, bro.
They were, it's a total lesson.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, listen, mostly my read that.
You were lucky twice. You're lucky that he didn't die. You're lucky his parents were nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they could have messed you
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. That could have ended my life before I even got started.
Yeah.
You know?
So now moving forward, you are a direct student of Master Simon Rhee in Taekwondo.
Yes.
How long did it take you to get your black belt there? And what was it like today you tested for your black belt? And how was it coordinated? Take us through that.
So that's an interesting question. So Master Rhee only has 3 third-degree black belts underneath the school ever. Because I was training at a different school at that time, I was about maybe 16-ish, and I was about to get my 3rd degree. Then I started training with Simon at that age, as a teenager. I was willing to do my tests at this school, but I was already so far down the other curriculum. He said, and this is a big thing for Master Rhee, he won't let people wear belts there if it isn't
under his tutelage.
yeah.
So you go back to white belt, basically.
He would definitely do that. Or if you're wearing a black belt from a different school and he's like, I think you're really like a green belt here, we'll test you out. Yeah. And he'll retest you to that.
And bring you up to that, yeah.
So he said, Noah, finish the testing of your other school. And then he pretty much coached me, trained me to get prepped for my other test. Because the certification was already processed through their school for the Kukwan.
For the Kuguan.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So we let me test with the other school. And then once that was done, I was like full-time training with them. So I would say for the first 2 years, it was only private lessons because I was a teenager. So my dad had to drive me up on the weekends when I just did private lessons with him. And then as soon as I turned 18 and had my driver's license, I was there Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was there like every other day.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick, because I'm seeing a lot of similarities
Yeah.
where I came from in regards to Taekwondo.
Yeah.
When did you get your first degree? Your first Dan?
It's like a junior black belt. I was 8.
Junior black.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I was 8 years.
That's what I was going to kind of touch base with, which we have talked about with
Yeah.
previous guests is, you have these certain schools where you have, kids walk around with black belts,
Yeah.
and then they end up quitting before they're even 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And they walk around, they have black belts.
Yeah.
And then for those that have done it their entire life, we realize, well, you're not really a black belt. You're 18.
Right.
And you can register cookie on
Yeah.
your real first dad.
Yeah.
Right? So is that how it was pretty much for you as well?
100%.
At 18,
Yeah.
that was your real test. Now, did you have to break during your test?
Like break boards.
Break bricks?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we met 3 of them.
Yeah.
For a 3rd degree. Yeah. Master Rhee is like 1 brick per degree.
Per degree. That's how it was for us.
And I think you get like 3 tries for the Master Rhee. Yeah.
So take us
I
through
was supposed to take my 4th degree with them, but I have a story of why I couldn't.
Well, we'll go into that later.
take us through the training with Master Rhee. What was it like? Like, what was he like? I mean, obviously he's very good and yes, all that stuff. So, but was it more so that he had to adapt his ways to suit his environment?
He told
On some level, or was he just like
this is one of my favorite.
or was he treating you like you're in Korea in the 70s and this is how you can do it? Almost like the way he portrayed Daehan.
And
That-
that's
that-
the best.
Is that how he trained you? Not the movements, but the mentality.
This is one of my favorite questions. I remember him specifically telling me how he teaches other students. And he was like, I try to blend a little bit of fear with compassion when I'm teaching. Like, students should be a little afraid to cross that line with me, but it is with compassion. And I remember sparring, I wanted to even go harder with all the students. He's like, Noah, you're probably the last student I'll ever train like the old ways. And I didn't quite understand it till I got a little bit older, what he meant by that. But when we were privately training, it was absolutely vicious.
Oh, what you do? What made it vicious?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because you say the word vicious,
I love
or
it.
viciousness.
Yeah.
You can see it in passion.
It's some of my favorite training I've ever got because it's applying pressure, right? And it was just the combinations and the pressure of how demanding each lesson was. So one, it was the kicking techniques were insane. It would be like round tornado spin kick, cheat 10 times on both sides. Then right away on the dot, I need to know one of my forms and perform it without failing, without any mistake.
That's great.
If I had a mistake, he'd make me pay for it.
Start over.
Yeah.
So I just saw him. I don't know. I saw a video of him.
Oh.
Simon, Philip, James Liu.
I trained with James Hurley.
But Simon was running it,
Okay.
and it was not a person. I think it was more like a stunt
Sure.
like
Workshop.
yeah. And it was in downtown. But now that you mentioned that, he had two people and they were on the mats, and one would throw X amount of kicks, and then the other person would have to do it the same.
Yep.
And then the camera pans, and he's just sitting on the chair like this.
Doesn't blink.
No, it wasn't like clearly he like it was set up, and that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
But does he run the workshops like the old school Taekwondo lessons?
When he teaches publicly, he's so great at being inspiring. And that's something that I've tried to take is that people aren't necessarily trying to become the next great martial artist, right? And he knows that when he's trained people. So it's a combination of how do I inspire the room, but also martial arts is about applying pressure. Can you handle pressure? How well do you do under that? But he's really good at bringing that energy back up. With me, he didn't need to. I'm like, literally the very first private I ever had with him was we got to spar. So I was 16 and I just had so much energy. I was ready to fight. And I was like, I get to fight the guys, train me. Fun.
What year was this?
I don't know what year it was. That was in like maybe 15, 16.
Okay.
I never remember, but we put on gloves. We start sparring. All I remember was, now mind you, I'm in like the fastest shape I've ever been in, right? And this plays testament to timing. I walked into a cross, right? All my solar plexus. I remember my legs getting out and I couldn't stop them. And I hit the floor and I was trying to laugh because it was so awesome. I couldn't laugh. I couldn't breathe. And I was trying to laugh and he's laughing at me. Noah, are you okay? It's like, you walked right into that. And I was like, this is the guy who has to train with us. This is freaking awesome.
Now, at the same time, I'm sure you'd seen Best of the Best
Yeah.
a million times at that point.
My dad did. My dad honestly grew up with it more than I did. I definitely watched it, but I didn't really idolize that aspect. I just wanted to learn like real martial arts, and I wanted to learn from the best, right? And
What you knew when you were training with them, that was they, huh?
Yeah.
Because I knew that. Yeah. Now, does he still at that school today?
No, actually, he gave me the keys of the pool. It was Pete and I, his other instructor. They offered us to take over the school, but COVID was something that shut it down. I highly contemplated keeping it, but being a business owner, running a brick and mortar is tough, right? And the reason that I didn't test for my 4th degree was I got a call from NetherRealm Studios to do Mortal Kombat video game. So to do his curriculum for 4th degree and ride a school, there's no way I could develop the characters for MK1. I did 8 of the main characters on the motion capture acting, and I blended about 2 or 3 styles of martial arts per character.
Let's talk about that. Would you talk about some of the characters because I was telling James about that today.
Yeah, I did for MK1, I did Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Smoke, Reptile, Kenshi is my fake scan model as well. Kung Lao, Liu Kang, and Raven.
That is phenomenal.
That's all me when you're playing it, Dave.
Yeah. Now, did you create the movements for each one, or did they have like hey, look, obviously, you know a little bit about Raiden.
Mhm.
Here's how we want to kind of put him together. Or did they give you full range?
I would say the only characters they were very particular about was Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I had zero creative input. I just performed the movements that the studio wanted. Those were like the poster boys of the
Yeah.
Devil franchise, so they were very adamant about it. But they wanted a newer, fresher approach to the characters. Carlos Messina was the original Raiden for the very first arcade game. He had been with them for 35 years, so this was his retirement. And he picked me to help rebrand the whole franchise and come up with whole new movesets. I was allowed to be very creative at that entire process. Yes. If it was not something that was working, it was just like, oh, we already have another character doing something similar to that. Can we do something a little different? That's all it was. But
And how long did it take?
it's about 2.5 years ago, man.
Wow.
Yeah, in Chicago. So
Wow. Nice.
yep, fully by my net worth. Yep, yeah.
2.5 years.
Yeah. So I
And
was
it seems like a lifetime.
it was a long time. Yeah. It would be like it was about 2 months, a month flying to Chicago, come back home, have another month off. But I was the first performer they've ever granted the persons.
Beautiful.
So that was something I requested.
I was at Union. I'm guessing.
No, video games are non-union. Well, it's all non-union. Yeah, it's a whole other world. I think because video games are so breaking still to the
Yeah. Yeah.
they're trying to catch up, and I think that's part of the politics of video games is figuring out. But I told them my rate. I'm not a normal performer. I'm an action actor, so I don't really even do stunts anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do falls. I don't do wrecks. Don't light me on fire for dear God.
So how did you? So you got into that stunt world
Yeah.
because Simon pretty much was like, "Hey, we need a guy."
Yeah. Now this skill you kept at a school was like a massive networking opportunity that I was like, I didn't even care. I was just so tunnel vision. Like when you train real martial arts, you're not trying to network with people.
You know, it's a different ballgame. Your mindset's
I was literally, it felt like Phil Jackson training by pejorative. That's the energies that I really had with Master Rhee at that school.
I love that.
And there were a lot of actors that were coming here, a lot of production teams, just because Master Rhee's name. And I'd be the crazy guy in the corner if Master Rhee's like, if we need somebody, no, John Favreau.
So give us some kind of, cause some of the, give us some of the examples of some of the films and stuff we've worked on.
Well, helping Master Rhee out the school. I remember.
Yeah, just stunts for now.
Yeah,
Get into your new stuff. Yeah.
So a lot of it, honestly, was developing my skill and doing a lot of the free projects. And it's working with guys that are phenomenal at what they do. You get paid nothing and you make the coolest shit possible.
That's what I've realized in the 12 years I've been doing this is that's where you are, though.
Yeah.
You're getting more than money.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're getting better than money. You're getting experience, networking. If you walk in and you're a professional, people want to work with you again.
Yeah.
That means the world. And I remember when I first got in the industry, I knew that was the route, is to go where you're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
Because that's where you create a lot of networks.
If it's good, those are the guys that start getting hired for shit. Yeah, and you get the phone call, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of where I really started with all of that. And then my very first YouTube video I made, and goes back to Cindy, when I was like, man, I don't want to wait 6 months to get another job, right? I wasn't getting called. So I liked Star Wars at that time, and I made a Star Wars spam film.
Okay.
That video got the attention of J.J. Abrams because Greg Grunberg, his son, trains at Master Rizul. So Greg is like his cousin pretty much, and he showed the video. I got a call from JJ to go to Bad Robot here in Santa Monica, and he started lightly mentoring me, giving me a lot of advice at 18 years old. And his advice to me was stop doing stuff work, focus on your acting, and focus on storytelling. And we really it was the basics. It was the fundamentals from an absolute legend. And the confidence to me as a young guy, how do I tell a story? Right? I've never really even thought about that. I was like, I know how to tell a story in a fight, but just something that everybody can relate to. So it took me about 6 months to write my next project, and I called it Revenge of the Kids. It was about my childhood, being in the front yard with my friends, just playing with lightsabers, just like something we don't see now. We're in the iPad kid generation, right? And I was like, man, I miss being a kid, just running in my front yard. And I got a lot of stunt kids from Master Rhee School. So you're seeing these kids do like fucking like 540s, backflips and all this stuff, fighting with lightsabers. That video in front of my mom's house got 300 million views when I was 19.
Wow.
Wow.
300 million.
I made probably a little less than like 500,000 when I was 19 from that.
Wow, dude.
So that was a big turning point of why I didn't need to do stunts.
That is beautiful.
But I really enjoyed being on a bigger production to learn.
Yeah.
So now I was learning how to navigate social media, and I was working with really big YouTubers on my off time. And then I would get Stewie jobs, just like a TV show, whatever it was. Yeah. I did like The Last Shift. It's like hyper-based.
Oh, you remember that shit?
Yeah.
Maybe was.
Yeah.
I did it twice. It's a very cool show to work.
Yeah, yeah.
When did you start? Obviously, the kind of tricking stuff trickled in. Like you said, 540 roundhouse is
Master
Was that something Mr. Rhee taught you?
No, so he was adamant on me learning how to do those spinning kicks, but he was like, back in my day, like he was like doing. They kind of pioneered that in the movies, is doing like 360 stuff. And not so. I got introduced to tricking through Anish Sharifa. Anish caught me. He's a huge tricking guide. He would know that.
I have to look him up.
He's a big stunt guy. I was very lucky to train with him when I was a lot younger, but he taught me all my tricking. Have you seen the newer rendition of Tron? Not the one that just put out.
No, the one before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, see that. Yeah.
He's Tron in the movie.
No shit.
That's all him. So
Wow.
that's where I got to learn my tricking from.
Wow.
So I literally would go to Master Rhee's 8 a.m. I'd work out for 2 hours prior to class. Classes from 10 to 11. I try to get small lunch. Then I'd go to the other gym to train from 12 to 2:30, all tricking. So it was like the entire morning was all Taekwondo tricking, all flipping. Then I'd come back home, try to take a nap, strength and conditioning, and then we'd get it out that.
Now, are you certified in strength and conditioning and stuff like that? Do you do that?
No, but I'm not certified, but I have like my coaches that I've worked with.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I know you're a big Bruce Lee guy. Yeah. Talk to us about that. What does Bruce Lee mean to you?
Oh man, Bruce Lee, his movies were the thing that I was just like, who the fuck is this? But it's his writing that changed everything for me as a teenager. 15 years old, I'm reading like you can combine different arcs and, all of the strengths and weaknesses. And it was just, honestly, it was like the rambling of a really cool dude that had some awesome ideas that passed away too. Yeah. And I'm like, he just started on this idea, right? And we're lucky that we get looks like that.
But he had to pass that joint to become the legend.
Totally.
Dan Inosanto said to me once, he goes, Bruce Lee, that son of a gun, we never know what he was like when he got older. We always remember him young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it.
That's the James Dean.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I know everybody in the world that got into martial arts was at some point inspired by that guy. But it's when you're right. It's when you really get into his mind, as opposed to just his physicality. Is where you see things that are just extraordinary. Like for instance, what we watch every once in a while, we'll sit back, we'll watch Enter the Dragon. Like,
Well, every once in a while, we play it up here. Okay, so my little student will be here in about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And you can ask him this. What movie plays the most in this gym?
Still not right away.
I'll say Bloodsport
Oh, no.
or Into the Drain. But the greatest thing that I love about his presence on screen too is not just the physicality of martial arts. It's the emotion of the face. It's the movement is so graceful. There's something more there that it's hard to put into words.
He inspired a few very, very important things in me. One of them is in Enter the Dragon, where they're explaining we need more emotional
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yep. Try it. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that took, I think it took me like 10 years to understand what you want. That. And then my best friend, the out of Korea's, I'd also grown up hearing stories about Bruce Lee, like getting high, smoking a sheesh, and being a hippie.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he just high coming up with this?
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, what does he mean talking about that? It took me a while to really understand that. I did a movie with Michael Jai White. Love to get Mike in there one day. But Mike was really big on how powerful it can make movements look while also not hurting the performance. He's like, damn, you don't see anybody moving at your size or speed
and making it look strongly. Or it's like, how do you do that?
And it was really Bruce Lee, that emotional content, that when I'm trying to fit, I want to feel that intensity when you actually fight it.
Yeah.
Especially in tricking, because a lot of people can do the trick, but you don't feel the danger of that way, right?
Yeah.
And just finding ways to like invoke that energy. Oh no, you go into it. That's
Who else had that? Was Van Damme. Van Damme had that. You could feel that, when he would throw just one kick, you could feel that,
Jean-Claude, everything he did. Yeah. There was no camera tricks other than, not seeing daylight between the strike and the target. Everything, when you see him jump up 360, I mean, that's him doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's,
But to be physically capable to do it is one big part of it, but then to invoke emotion and feeling in it, oh man, that's hard.
That's why I love that, with him and Bruce both. Like, for instance, when Bruce steps on Bob Ball's head, right? You would just see that. We were just talking about Bob today.
Yeah.
But you see him
He just passed away.
and it's like,
48 or I just spoke to him on Mushy 40 class. I knew Buff very well.
Wow.
But anyway, you see when Bruce did that, you can feel that emotional content.
Yeah.
Same with JC when he would, in kickboxer, if he throws that first kick to Mohamed Kisi's face, it's actually the third one, throws that roundhouse across the face, and then it's a slow-mo, and he's like,
When there's very few people, I mean, there's a lot of great martial artists on screen. Yeah, but there's not really. If you take Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon, you take Van Damme and Bloodsport Kickboxer, I don't think anybody's ever really matched them in the martial arts genre.
Yeah.
Just that screen presence. And of course, it's also, I believe, one of those things where your stars are aligned. Everything works.
Yeah.
It's just like
Which is like 1 in a billion.
Yeah, everything works.
Yeah.
And people say, well, it's because of that. Yes, there are important factors, I believe, but there's just some things just work.
Yeah.
And you don't really know why, but it just, if you look at Bloodsport, I mean, everything about it just works. Would it work today? I don't know. What do you think? Would it work today?
Are you talking about like being able to shoot a movie?
If you were to literally go and remake Bloodsport, does it work in today's? I mean, I know
would it become legendary?
you can do it on a B movie version. Yeah. Drop it on Amazon or Netflix. You can make any movie and do that.
Yeah.
But would a remake of Bloodsport today, in your opinion, have the same impact that it had then?
No.
Why?
It's so tough. We're in a generation where we're so desensitized because we've seen so much of it, right? And we're in a generation where it needs to be relatable to what's happening now, right? Back then, there was nothing to be relatable to. And they set the gold standard. And it was also, movies were larger than life. You can go, like, I see all the 80s shit in here. I love it, right? But it's like, blow all the cars up, get the biggest guns, have the biggest muscles, biggest kicks, right? But now it's like, we've seen all of that. I think people want something like, if you were to do a story, it would need to be heavily tied in a little bit more with Muay Thai. Muay Thai is so popular right now. There needs to be a way to tie in what's popular that people feel like, you know what, I just watched this movie. Can I go do something like that?
Muay Thai, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But it's hard to make it look that explosive on screen because there's not a lot to it. Even when you look at Tony Jaa, he did on back.
Yeah.
And it's a winnable.
Yeah.
But, what makes him look really good? The trick.
Yeah.
The flying knee. Things like, but how many of those can you do over 90 minutes?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
Muay Thai it's like kind of like boxing in a sense. There's not a lot of it's not like learning a martial arts system where there's a lot more material.
Yeah.
It's a fight strategy.
It's a fight strategy, which brings it down to kind of like what Bruce Lee would say is daily decrease.
Yeah.
Hack away what you don't beat.
Yeah.
So
I love the movie Never Back Down. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But it's like, none of those guys are good martial artists.
And they did a good job bringing in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Tying it into
Because the script and story and the acting are king. But man, if you had a legit martial artist in there, that would have taken over the top.
I think Cam Gigande did a decent job.
Yeah.
But
sure.
I think the rest of them, with the exception of some of the people that they brought in.
I didn't even care that their picks were shitty. I was having
still
fun.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play the music.
And
I'm in, dude.
I think the way they shot that, being really close up during certain things to where it seemed like the input was harder than it really was, especially when you had somebody that couldn't really perform it on fly. But yeah, I think you're right. I think they did a really good job with that.
It's if we were to do another Bloodsport rendition, it would need to follow a similar format because they caught on right as the UFC was blowing up, right? And now I think one championship is like getting a little bit more popular too. So there might be something there.
Yeah.
If you had one martial arts actor / star that you believe would become a champion in real life, providing they're coachable. I mean, you have a lot of people, a lot of skills that are not coachable. Yeah, that person not going to be a champion. You've got to be coachable. What did we say? Fighting, custom auto also fighting's 80% mental.
Yeah.
What do you already said? Not prepared.
It's not more.
It's not more. You were to pick one or two actors / martial arts action stars.
I already know my person right away.
Who would you pick?
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White.
Yeah. I mean, I did my movie with him where I'm very lucky that I can call him my friend and he's like my big brother. But man, if I ever got hit by him, holy shit.
Why don't we go in talking about how he watched Jai White just tear the fuck out of a bag one time?
He's a legit martial artist. He really is. But, size is king, especially if you. It's a great technique. He's a big guy and has great technique and used to compete in karate. Then as a Shilikan, I don't remember. But man, I mean, in his prime, if you wanted to go with the fighting route, I think he would do really well. I think it'd be hard to fight.
So yeah, you see him moving around with John Jones.
Yeah.
And even though they're going at like 15%.
Yeah, it's scary.
But it's crazy to see how he can show John just that little movement where he's not telegraphing that front kick.
Yeah.
Have you watched that? Where
he done it with him.
Yeah. He doesn't bring the knee forward, he brings it in.
Yeah.
And there's some reality to that. There's
100%.
big time reality to where a guy like Jones, if he was to fake with something similar and then throw that, that could be very devastating on somebody. Jones is just an absolute beast.
Yeah. I think Mike really enjoys the actual fighting application of the martial arts and film, right? But there are a lot of guys that get super stuck in just the film side of things. Yeah. Mike loves the martial arts.
Well, that's the thing. When you talk to a lot of people that say so-and-so is, they're badass or this or that. Yeah. And how do you know? I always ask, how do you know? Oh, look at it. Yeah. He's got athletic abilities. Last week can kick. But how is he when you're pounding on his ribs? Does he have the character? How is he when he gets punched in the face? Yeah. And they go, oh, it's all right.
Yeah, we don't know that. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. But showmanship is one thing that you see some people are totally, and that's fine. Yeah. But some people that are totally into that actually believe they're world champions. And that's kind of a little weird.
Yeah, for sure. They start to fall in love with the ego, what they felt, right?
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, Mike is like just a giddy kid that's excited to learn something new.
Yeah.
And I think keeping the joy of learning is what makes you a true master at your skill in your.
Absolutely. It's about, and Dan will always say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all about learning, and when you teach, you learn.
Yeah.
How many times you look at somebody do something, I didn't show you that with percussion. I never thought of them. Yeah. In those terms.
Yeah.
You always learn it. And when you teach, you get better at it. You never forget. Yeah. Going back to Taekwondo for a second, what was the difference in how Jun Chong would teach Taekwondo opposed to Master Rhee?
That's an excellent question. I think Master Rhee, now mind you, I got different treatment than everybody else, but I think Master Rhee really wanted to push my athletic spinning kick ability, all the 720s and all those jumping spin kicks, where Jun Chung, I think they don't focus on the jump kicks as like to that level.
When you say he wanted to push you more on the jump kick, faster, harder, higher, like what was
working them more
be able to throw them in combination, any point, anytime, anywhere.
Well, and that's one thing I've noticed about your content is that people will throw a 540 roundhouse, but then they stop. You'll throw a fucking 540 roundhouse, come down, come up with a regular, just keep on going. And it's like, holy shit, he just worked that into like something that nobody would ever expect.
The earliest stages of that was Master Rhee, just drilling me. But then I've trained so many different systems and styles. It's like, just keep going, keep blending. Yeah. Keep it moving, right?
At what time or what point does the brain just kind of turn off for you in the midst of doing your physicality, and it just kind of hits. It just comes. You're not even thinking, and it's like, holy shit, I just put that together for 15 seconds, and I didn't even plan that.
That's a good question. The minute cameras are rolling, honestly, even if it's just my phone, the minute camera's down, put it, I just block out. Boom. Then I tell everybody, okay, just like that, do it.
Yeah.
It's like Guru Dan says that. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Just do it like that without. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Now, where did you start realizing? I know you said that you started realizing a little bit when you got into your fights and you were in box and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But where did you really? Because I'm to the point now, like I've even told James this a couple different times. Like,
No.
mainly, my background is Taekwondo.
Mhm.
I have some boxing in there, but I wrestle. And
Awesome.
and
Nice.
I did some actual fighting, so in the cage fighting.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to do for the longest time. I went in a phase to where that's like, I'm like, this is the only thing that fucking works. I don't need any of this shit, blah, blah. And then recently, especially since we started, it's been a year now since we first started putting the time into the podcast and before we actually started launching, but we put a lot of time and energy to it. And it made me realize I'm on a journey now where I want to go back and I want to learn more systems. I want to harness some of the old stuff that I did. Like, dude, I hadn't done forums in like 20 years, and just out of a fucking whim, like a couple months ago, I'm like, I'll run through my forums and I could do everything without it thinking right now. But where did that transition in for you to where you're like, I got to start learning more. I want more than just what I've already learned.
The Taoji can go.
That's it.
That was it. Reading Bruce's book, and I'm like, oh hell yeah! I'm just getting started.
Have you read Guru Dan's Filipino martial arts?
I have not. No.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
Amazon purchase next week.
Yeah. And Guru Dan, of course, obviously, having worked with Bruce, a lot of the philosophy is the same.
Oh yeah.
So, but of course, he's modified stuff as he moves forward because that's the same. JK George Washington's army wouldn't do too well in today's environment, right? Like it. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
You got to move with the times.
Yeah.
You're back on load.
A lot of my experimental videos right now are gaining a lot of traction because the idea of JKD is to move past what it was in the 60s, right? 60s, 70s. But it was blocking karate guys, right? Blocking kung fu guys. And they're doing these hard low blocks, right? So Bruce is going down, trapping, just simple low traps, right? What be blocks like that now? You're fighting guys that are boxers, Muay Thai guys. Yeah. So I'm trying to play around with the idea of just doing that. It's gaining a lot of traction.
Well, and you saw some
idea.
We were looking at one today where you had, what was it, the one where he did the peekaboo and then came up with the elbow.
My Muay Tyson video.
Yeah.
That was started on as a joke, and it's taking off now. But I'm just a big karate nerd that I'm like, how can I make this look cool and would it actually be functional? Or, I'm
You're bringing the aspect of where society is nowadays into that and you're integrating it to where it's now, connecting on that 12-year-old that might be swiping through too and might stop and watch.
Totally.
And it also hits home with that 40-year-old that's swiping through, right? Which is important,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think when it comes to efficiency, there are a lot of great martial arts and styles out there, but peekaboo was not made to be the most efficient art. It's dynamic and explosive.
Well, Cuss never called it the peekaboo.
What do you call it?
We never called it anything.
Anything, yeah.
Cuss's whole thing was throw a punch, move your head. Put yourself in the position where they are counter punching, make him miss and counter punching immediately and get to a position where you can hit him and he can't hit you.
Yeah.
Whereas most generic boxing is just, boom, boom. What amazes me about a lot of people that teach people today, they teach them how to strike. But there's not enough emphasis on keep your hands up, keep your chin down. After your elbows in. Yeah. Move your head. They just don't. It's like, you're going to hit this where they never say, so many people I see and people that you wouldn't think would be like this. I look and go, the most important thing is anybody can throw a punch. I can bring an Irish farmer, he'll throw a punch, he'll kill anybody. Look, anyone. But can he be a world champion? Probably not.
Yeah.
So my point is that it's to teach somebody how not to get hit. Because then today, if you and I fight, we're just milling into each other, it's who's going to land first. Most likely going to win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's not being very tactful. That's some tactical. But if you boom, boom, and you move, and move, your hands are up and your chin is down where it is. The other person has a harder time. I think, as you're training somebody, of course you got to train them how to punch, proper technique. But it's more important to teach them how not to get pushed. I remember, and drill it in, chin down, hands up. Because so many people, you see it even with professional UFC fighters. They're fighting. The chin is up. They wouldn't last one round with a boxer. It'd be over. Yeah. But again, a lot of MMA people, they know a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. And they perfected none of it.
Yeah.
But within the dynamic that they're fighting,
Within that, dynamic,
it's
within that
fine.
box is what works. Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times they're not necessarily worried as much about having their chin down because they know if they're about to get tagged, they're shoot.
But some of them,
They know they're going to change.
the ones that got knocked out, wish they.
Well, 100%. But my point in there is you could make an argument. I've heard Joe Rogan say this a couple times. You could make an argument to where the actual moving pieces, like calculus, let's say, are harder within the realm of the MMA world because there's more moving pieces. There's more weapons. There's more things that can come. To whereas, yes, like I'll give you an example. When I train, when I go to my gym, we have boxing classes, we have MMA classes, we have jiu-jitsu classes, we have Muay Thai classes. And I've noticed even for myself, I'm always going, okay, I have a different stance for my Muay Thai class.
Yeah.
When I go to boxing, I have a different stance. When I do MMA, I have a different stance. But in that particular situation, when I am actually going live, I'm able to utilize all.
Yep.
But my point is that I myself even catch myself with my chin up sometimes because I'm actually just trying to get something done in my brain. Does that make sense? Like,
Well, nothing's perfect.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're not going to bob and weave against a guy who kick you in the face.
And that's my point. It's like, because I can normally tell pretty quickly what discipline I'm fighting pretty fast.
Yeah.
What
I still think there's important fundamentals.
Of course.
That are very tiring for most people that want to spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when you spring forward and you're firing a hook. Yeah. We see a lot of people have a lot of the weight on their left leg. Yeah. Your hip should always be square. Yeah. So, when you rotate into your shoulder, it's almost like having a spirit gel. Yeah. You always want to strive to have, again, it's hard to be perfect, but to be as close to it as is possible as an individual. You always want to kind of have that bubble in the center. Yeah. So you're always hitting with maximum force. But again, it's easier to throw your hand out, swing your arm. It takes a little bit more time for your body to catch up with that sometimes because we're moving more mats, right? So yeah, what's your thoughts on it?
I always say like training offense is good for motivation. And then training defense is where the discipline actually kicks it.
Truth.
Right? That's
Because how many times do you see a guy just working the hell out of the bag? Everything he throws is an offensive technique.
Yeah,
You don't see him block once. You don't see him move his head once. And it's like, of course, what he's doing depends on the motivation, right? It depends on what his end goal is. Maybe
James Tony told me one time, he was the ex-heavyweight. You don't need to hit speedballs. You don't need to hit heavybody in the head. Use me to spar. You'll learn it all in there. The timing of everything is totally different. Yeah. And if your chin is up and your hand is down, you know about it. See, I'm not going to let you know.
And see, that's the truth there, where now we're talking about that end goal. What's your end goal? If your end goal is to be a world champion boxer and eventually perform better within that realm of fighting, then yes, 100% that's what you need to be doing, right? But now we know all this other stuff. I'm going to go into my whole spiel about the brain, right? Now we know brain damage is a huge thing. CTE, huge things coming around. And now they're showing that there's methods of, you have fighters in the UFC, don't even spar. Connor even did that for a while. Didn't spar as much. He would just do other things. Does it work? I don't know. Does it not work? I don't know. It's all dependent on.
As far as like George St. Pierre talking about play sparring, I think you learn the most play sparring.
Yeah.
Light with really, really good technical guys.
Yeah.
And then there is a time and place for hard sparring.
Absolutely.
You're right off fight pressure, but then you deal with this issue.
It's interesting you said that because he did say something similar to me in 2015.
Connor did? GSP.
Yeah.
I'm not everything he said. He said that, might be paraphrasing, but it's very close to what he said. He said that, even a professional fighter doesn't want to get injured in sparring. So sometimes heavy sparring is not always the best option because if you get injured, then you can't fight.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's also a balance. Yeah. But then now you talk to Mike Tyson and he never sparred. Everything was a fight. And guess what? He never done it.
Yeah.
And neither did the guys he ever. Now, granted, he's boxing, he's not throwing elbows and knees.
Yeah.
We know that, but he's hitting you with a lot of impact, nevertheless.
Yeah.
You know, none of his guys ever.
And I think it's all, again, too, you go back to that goal. Now, if the goal is they're using this to make money, to create their legacy and make money for their family, themselves, and make a living out of something, of course, man, you're going to have to go into the trenches. You're going to have to get hurt. You're going to have to go through that shit. But you have to be very self-aware to know, okay, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put myself into that position to where 10 years from now, just because I felt like play fighting, I got no brain.
Well,
You know, it's very...
I believe play fighting is where there's very little or no impact. It's just more reflex.
No, I meant
in a controller.
I'm not saying play fighting in that way. I was saying play fighting as in I'm going in there trying to be the best fighter I can and end up hurting myself because I went so hard for no particular motivational goal. That was in the same construct of where I'm needing to go, if that makes sense.
There are a lot of people like that.
And well, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's what separates the amateurs from the pros.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. That's a very good point.
So now, when you're preparing for a particular movie, what does a workout routine consist of? I mean, obviously, you're always in shape and you're always training.
Yeah.
But when you're narrowing it down for some specific role, like, what would you change, and then what kind of stays the same?
So for Trouble Man, I had to gain 25 pounds for that movie.
Really?
So
You walk around at what?
I walk around like 180, 185, which I'm back to now.
So you walk for that 225?
I was like 207 there.
Nice. Tell us what you did.
Yeah, I ate 6 meals a day for like 3 months.
Straight up bodybuilding type stuff.
Yep. And then I had to switch my training program. It was all weightlifting right away in beginning of the morning. Just heavy lifting. Like my joints were fucking hurting in my shoulders. Yeah. Benching 225 easy. But and then keeping up with my martial arts in the afternoon, right? 2 a days, it was no problem. Typically when I'm not trying to bulk up for a movie, because I did that once, I don't know if I would do it again. There's a lot on my body. I wanted to see if I could do it. I did it. Just Mike is such a big guy. He's 6'1" at 235.
Is he only 6'1"?
Yeah.
He seems tall.
I thought he was a beat higher. If I got it down.
Yeah,
But he's a big guy is the point.
he's a big guy. He's 235.
And he's a big man.
Yeah. So he cut down for that movie to 215. So he's like, I want us to be a little bit similar. I'm about 5'11", at like 207 for the movie. So it looked great. They did what it was supposed to for that movie.
Talk about what your character is in that movie.
Can you talk about? Yeah. The movie's out, came out last year. I play the character Fang. I work for the Chinese triad. I'm essentially the muscle to the head of the organization. And essentially Mike wanted to have a character. Honestly, the person that recommended me was Scott Abrams.
Nice.
Funny, I was going to bring up something with Scott, but finish your story.
So Scott was the one that referred me. Mike called me and literally the next day and he was like, how long have you known Scott? He talks so highly of you. And I'm like, I've never met that guy. Like, we've just been Instagram friends. That's so cool of him. He was like, he was talking like you guys were best friends. That's so awesome.
Martial artists can see martial artists, man.
Dude, it was so cool of Scott. Scott DM'd me and was like, you have some of the best kicks of your generation, little bro. Like, it's your time. And I was like, oh shit. I was geeking out so hard.
Yeah, sure.
And then so Mike rewrote the whole movie and made sure that I was in every major scene with all the actors inside of the movie. It was with Mike Epps, Method Man from Wu-Tang Clan's, bunch of other guys. So I had a scene with everybody, and Mike was very adamant about knowing that this is not the only movie I'm doing with him. He's trying to franchise Trouble Man.
How was your fight with John White? How'd that go?
So Mike wrote in to where he wanted to lose to me in the first fight, and he's like, I haven't lost to anybody in maybe like 20
So you guys fought twice.
And so we fought once where I got to beat him, and he's like, I want to build you up for the second and third movie. So I beat him, and then of course he wins at the very end. We have a 3 or 4 minute long fight. It looked great. I'm really, really happy with it. And he wants to essentially, I don't want to spoil too much of what Mike has shared with me, but we do plan on trying to do the second and third movie together.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Very
it
cool.
should be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah. What are you currently watching?
Right now, I have like 15 things I'm working on at once right
Stop boasting.
I just came back from Daytona with the Ferrari team. So I worked with a company called Frizz. We just talked about that. Landed last night back in LA. And then I might be doing some other cool stuff with Ferrari in the future as well too. But I kind of talked about I want to be in this space for content, for video games, for movies. As long as I get to use my martial arts and show the world what I can do, I'm super happy. But I think the thing I'm the most excited about is the development of Muay Thai right now. That's like, if I have time, that's what I want to put my energy into. I'm just so spread thin all the time, trying to do so many different projects. Yeah,
Have you done Cambodian boxing?
I have. I've actually been to Cambodia 3 times. I love it there.
Do you know Crew Torratana?
I do not know.
He's my Cambodian boxing instructor.
Okay, cool.
You should add that. It's very similar to Muay Thai.
me.
I'll do it.
Cambodian boxing, they emphasize the elbow and the plum more,
Okay.
whereas Muay Thai, they just emphasize the knee and the kick more.
Yeah.
They say, yeah, you're picking at hairs.
Yeah.
Talking about something that defines each one.
Yeah, I thought.
Well, Crew Torratana grew up in the Khmer Rouge of Cambodia. Every time he fought in a tournament, there was a casket right there. And they didn't fight in official rings. It was just like a few ropes and a couple poles in the corner. Jesus, because someone always died.
Like
He's-
they would kill a loser.
That and someone always died. There was no rules, just guy. Someone always died. He said in almost every tournament, someone almost died.
Yeah.
So there's your real Bloodsport.
He's here. I'll get him here and more eventually to come.
Awesome.
Now, and when you learn from
The
this,
Himalayan people are the nicest people I've ever met too.
when he plunge it,
Yeah.
You ain't
you
going
feel
anywhere.
like you got a 300-pound guy hanging.
You're talking about like clinch?
Clinch, yeah. Well, he calls it plump. Yeah. But when he does it and the way he gets out and the break the arm and the way to do the head,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
street style.
Yeah. I love
You will like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah,
I
you
will
like-
learn
you like-
everything.
You know, it's very interesting. And Burmese boxing again, you'll hear Buo Dam talk about.
Yeah.
it, you know, and they're all very similar, little different things, but they're all nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Muay Thai they took out the flying elbow to the top of the head, right?
Down
For sport. Down.
Yeah, because I think
That's
that's what
like-
people actually got killed.
Yeah. You didn't die.
Yeah.
That because
Yeah.
it's soft up here.
Yeah, when they come out, you know, the small guys they hit for power.
Yeah.
You know,
Dangerous.
I mean,
They are very dangerous.
What's your favorite martial art? I'm not asking about the best.
Yeah.
The one or the one you veer to the most for whatever reason.
It's hard for me to pick because it's like an emotion. Yeah. It's like a feeling.
One that works for you anatomically the best that you feel.
I always go between my boxing, Taekwondo, and JKE.
That's interesting because when Emil Farkas was in here last week, he said that in his opinion, Shotokan was one of the best self-defense systems simply because it was very simple, you know, very explosive punching,
Yeah.
and then it's done.
Yeah.
It was not like 5,000 moves.
Yeah.
And you're not saying the same thing, but it's very relatable because JKD is very straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, and boxing is obviously very straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing Taekwondo kicks, I mean, unless you're doing, you know, the very aerial stuff,
Yeah.
you know, the round kick, side kick, front kick, you know, they're
Very
very straightforward but effective strikes.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to what Emil is saying.
Yeah.
In a sense.
I love the feeling of flying through the air. Those jump kicks. So that's what I enjoy so much. But the efficiency of boxing, that's like something that will never leave me. I love boxing. So
What do you like about JKD?
I love that it's always a conversation. I love that it's like an intelligent martial art. It's not something that is just only about brute force. I love the intelligence and conversation aspect between trapping hands. I think it's so fun.
Do you think it should
Yeah.
have a name?
Oh, JKE?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Should it have a name?
Yeah.
think it should have a name.
Yeah.
Because Bruce always had said,
Yeah.
you know, naming it was the worst thing that I could have done.
He didn't name it.
Yeah.
Bruce didn't name
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know who named it JKD?
Yeah.
Sterling Silverfine.
Hmm.
Bruce didn't. Bruce had learned a form.
He had all you fun, right?
John Fan, yes.
Yeah.
And there's only
that's just his name.
Yes. Kung Fu.
Yeah.
With the G.
Mm-hmm.
He had when Bruce arrived in Seattle in '59, he
Mhm.
started, as you know, working at Ruby Chow's. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Well, in Ruby Chow's was another Red Bull Kung Fu master.
Yeah.
Called Fu Kyung.
Okay.
Fu Kyung taught Bruce a form called Jeet Kune. That's it, Jeet Kune.
Yeah.
With a whole host of other things.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
they're on the set of Long Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
for me, I think that's potentially Bruce Lee's best piece of screen performance out of everything.
I agree, and it's so sad that there wasn't more.
His
Yeah.
philosophy,
Yeah.
his technique.
That's the red jumpsuit, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the white
Yeah.
stripes.
That's my favorite stuff he's done.
He's on the set. This is the story as the story goes. He's
Yeah.
on the set. He's talking about what becomes JKD.
Yeah.
And Sterling Silliphant and him are talking because they're writing this script that's going to showcase his philosophy and this. That was specially written for Bruce, that episode, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's talking, he doesn't have a name for his system. Now, does Bruce throw out the name Jeet Kune? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was very close. Silliphant just says, call it Jeet Kune.
Yeah.
Bruce, Jeet Kune. Way to intercept, to stop, way to intercept and fist. But quick, got it.
I think like
So-
old renditions of the book even said in the entry, like when you're done,
Which
or
one?
in the book.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know if the newer ones have that.
Old ones.
So
The
we're
old
going to take this off, right?
You want me to take that off?
What I'm going to say.
Oh.
Well, we're talking.
Yeah.
Take out this part.
Yeah. He didn't write the JK, the Dow JK.
Oh, for sure. It's like a collection of his notes, right?
It's not even.
Okay.
I can give you a book that you can put side by side,
Yeah.
and it's copied from other stuff.
Gotcha.
What happened was after he passed,
Yeah.
Linda had some writings of his, of course.
Yeah.
The rest was just taken from. There's a book called. It's not called Debunking the Tao. It's something else.
Yeah.
But when you put them side by side,
Yeah.
it's like, are you shitting me? It's like exactly the same.
Interesting.
It's like absorb what is useful.
Yeah.
You know how that came about. Boots never created that. Never said that.
Mm.
Isn't that Lao Tzu?
No. Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
And you know how
But it's
you know,
like Jewish proverbs.
No,
sort
no,
of.
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
No.
that's
I mean,
cool.
it's not enough. We just
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I love Brucey. I collectible stuff. You die to have.
Have you seen the post?
No. I won't keep it here.
He's got real shit.
I love it.
This
I
dude's
got-
got. Tell him what you have from Bloodsport.
Oh, I have stuff that I can put a museum together.
Yeah, I believe it.
I have stuff from Bloodsport. I have the red uniform.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like so much stuff.
Yeah.
But
Kickboxing, you got this. You got the Muay Thai pants.
I got, you know the zigzag pants?
Yeah.
I have them, yeah.
Yeah.
I have them. Yeah, I have them.
Do you train him here?
We train together.
Yeah.
I'll put it out.
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time, so he comes and just train here. When he's here, it's just like this.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched? You ever watch any of Jay Cutler stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go to, it's got to be like what 2014, James, 2015. Jay Cutler put up a video, and it's the one that says
It's later.
Van Dam. Is it later?
Yeah, it's
2018 maybe.
20 something, yeah.
It's before COVID, right?
Oh yes.
So it says I met Van Dam, right?
Mm.
Well, in the video, you see James and Van Dam, and they're kind of working out in the background, and then you see Cutler talking to his camera. It's like, oh, that's Jean-Claude over there. Yeah, let me go grab James and see if James will introduce me over here. So you got to watch that. It's kind of funny. And then you see James come in, starts talking to Jay Cutler, and then that's how you know.
How it was, we were, no, not Muscle Beach, Venice.
Venice Goals, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not Muscle Beach.
Okay.
We're there. And I know Jay.
Yeah.
You see him at the gym all the time. He's, I'm sure you know him. He's the nicest guy that could be.
Nice.
He's never walked by me one time. He's a hey brother, always recognize you.
Yeah.
And even when he was Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Going back 25 years, he was, 20 years, whatever it is. He was always humble.
Yeah.
He never was where I met other guys I knew, and then all of a sudden something happened. We were like walking around, and then all of a sudden nothing much else happens over 5 years, and they're back out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay was never normal in Hollywood.
Jay was never that.
Yeah.
Not with me.
Yeah.
So no, before we wrap,
Mhm.
I'm going to throw a few names at you. You can give me one statement or give me one word that in your head sums them up. And we know it's spur of the moment. Because there's a lot to these individuals. It's not one word doesn't sum them up.
Okay.
Just for the viewers who.
I'll know the names.
So yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Bruce Lee,
Iconic.
Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Flexible.
James Liu,
Stepdad. Energy.
Simon Rhee,
The godfather of Taekwondo.
Philip Rhee,
The definition of cool.
Jun John,
Respect.
Jackie Chan,
stunts.
Dangerous
Stunts. Oh, my hero.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
I
brother.
got one more.
Yes.
Michael J. White.
Dangerous.
Awesome, man. Part
Thank
two.
you, guys.
Part 2 coming
Part
soon,
two.
guys.
Yeah.